Good Friday morning. Thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Megan McPherson. This morning, President Trump will board Air Force One and head to Wisconsin for his first visit to the state since his re-election back in 2024. President Trump will travel to Chippewa County, about 2 hours east of the Twin Cities. The White House says Trump's visit to the county is aimed at highlighting his support for farmers in the state of Wisconsin. Republican Congressman Derek Van Orden is expected to join the president during the visit, writing on X that he is proud to host the president and Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. Van Orden also told our NBC affiliate WEAU the event is focused on policy, not politics. Still, his congressional seat is considered competitive heading into the November midterms. And WEAU reports Democratic and progressive groups are also planning protests tied to the visit, one near Custer Farms, where the roundtable is expected to take place, and another at the Chippewa Falls Regional Airport. New updates this morning in the murder and torture of Sam Nordquist. One of the 7 people charged in this case has taken a plea deal. 20-year-old Emily Motaika pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and kidnapping for her role in Nordquist's death. The 24-year-old Minnesota man was held captive and tortured for weeks inside a Hopewell, New York motel room before his body was found in a field in February 2025. Motaika faces a minimum of 15 years to life. Sam's sister, Kayla, says she hopes the others will face harsher sentences.
I just really miss my brother. And I feel like the world's missing out on him because people decided to be evil.
6 others are still facing charges. The alleged ringleader, Sam's former partner, is scheduled for trial August 31st. Ontario County's district attorney says no plea deal will be offered in that case. Sam's family says they'll be in that courtroom. An update this morning, the agent charged with shooting a man in Minneapolis in January is fighting extradition to Minnesota. Investigators say 52-year-old Christian Castro shot through the door of a home, hitting someone in the leg. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty also added a charge for falsely reporting a crime after he said he was being attacked with a shovel and a broom. But city surveillance and evidence allegedly contradict that story. Castro was arrested in Texas last week after charges were issued in Minnesota.
He was not a fugitive, still employed. He does live in the Rio Grande Valley, as I understand it. So he was here in the area pursuant to his job obligations.
Okay, so he works here, so he was going to work.
That's our understanding, yes.
Okay. Castro is currently being held on a $200,000 bond. Developing this morning, we're learning the trial for the man accused of murdering a Loring Park grocery clerk is moving forward. 47-year-old Taylor Scholes allegedly beat Robert Scafty with a golf club in December 2023 while he was working at Oak Grove Grocery. Scholes pleaded not guilty to the charges, citing mental illness as a defense. Yesterday, the county attorney's office said 3 independent psychologists agreed he met the requirements for mental illness at the time of the incident. Because of that, he won't be tried by a jury. He's expected back in court in September. Minnesota's Department of Human Services confirms it's officially cutting ties with more than half of its Medicaid service providers in an attempt to cut fraud. But some of the providers say the state's process to revalidate is messy and rushed in an attempt to keep federal funding after the Trump administration said it was withholding $2 billion at the start of the year. Of the now 3,400 disenrolled providers, the state said they lacked certain documents, failed site visits, and a background study. Only 59 were referred for further review. The providers say their clients, most of whom have severe disabilities, will suffer if they shut down and are calling on lawmakers to help. That includes Republican Senator Jim Abler.
Instead of working on 10% of the providers who might have a problem, which it's not even that many, and leaving 90% alone to serve, now you've afflicted them all.
Providers can appeal, and many tell us they already have, but some say they only have enough cash to pay employees for about a month. Governor Tim Walz says he's encouraging providers to take these important steps to demonstrate they meet the necessary eligibility standards to help the state weed out fraud. A man accused of making more than $3 million in fraudulent Medicaid claims made his first appearance in court less than 24 hours ago. Ibrahim Abdi is facing 5 counts of felony fraud alongside his business partner, Muhammad Omar. Yesterday, Abdi surrendered his passport and will remain free until the trial. Omar, however, is currently in jail after he jumped off a 4th-floor balcony and, as you can see in this video, tried to run away on a broken leg. Court records show both men are accused of fraudulent Medicaid claims, including a client who was billed for 92 hours of service after they were already dead. Investigating fraud and the misuse of Minnesotans' tax dollars is a top priority here at Kare 11. In fact, we've reported on a number of different fraud cases for years. Some of those investigations have even sparked statewide change. We invite you to check out our fraud reporting at kare11.com/fraud. And you can help us expose new fraud. Right now, if you have a story that you'd like our I-team to look into, just send an email to investigations@kare11.com. Developing right now, the former Trump advisor John Bolton is expected to plead guilty to a charge of retaining national security information. He was first arrested in October of 2025 and initially pleaded not guilty, claiming that the prosecution was retribution for criticizing Trump. Meanwhile, the president is expected to name Attorney General Todd Blanche to be the permanent AG. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
Hi, Mr. Ambassador.
This morning, a one-time top official in President Trump's first administration, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, poised to plead guilty to one count of retaining national security information, according to two sources familiar with the matter. Bolton became a fierce Trump critic, and the two have publicly traded barbs.
I think it is a retribution presidency.
I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
The plea deal would be a reversal for Bolton, who initially vowed to fight the charges, and a first legal victory in a series of attempted prosecutions against the president's political enemies.
We don't reverse engineer prosecutions or investigations. We went to a judge, met the probable cause standard, raided his house, obtained information, went before a grand jury.
It comes as President Trump announced his new pick for the nation's top prosecutor, acting Attorney General Todd Blanche.
Todd is very popular. He's doing great.
Republicans signaling support,
And I've been personally real impressed with him.
while Democrats slam Blanche's former position as the president's personal lawyer.
Personal loyalty to President Trump is the qualification for whatever the job is. Attorney General, Director of National Intelligence.
A reference there to another personnel pick this week that's drawn bipartisan backlash. Housing Chief Bill Pulte to be acting Director of National Intelligence.
I see no evidence of any qualifications for that job.
I don't know of any national security experience he has.
President Trump now saying that role will be temporary.
Pulte has gained attention for pushing unproven allegations of mortgage fraud against several of President Trump's political enemies. While back on Bolton, two sources say he faces up to 5 years in prison, while one says he'll pay more than $2 million in restitution. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Starting midnight tomorrow, a ban on campfires in the Boundary Waters will begin as the risk of wildfires increases. All week, crews have been working to contain the nearly 35-acre Birch Bay wildfire near Ely. So starting this weekend, stoves or grills fueled by charcoal or wood are not allowed. You can use gas or propane cook stoves. The restrictions will be in effect through at least June 30th. A sad update: this Wags and Whiskers Animal Rescue is shutting down after 17 years. In a statement on Facebook, the rescue didn't share any specifics, but said the decision was made after careful consideration and with deep heartbreak. The rescue says it helped find loving homes for more than 12,000 animals since it opened in 2009. If you spend any time in Minneapolis this weekend, you will probably see plenty of purple and hear a lot of familiar tunes. The city is continuing to celebrate Prince in a big way with 3 more days of special events on what would have been his 68th birthday. Audrey Russo has a look at what we can expect.
Well, fans of Prince, fans of sports, anybody coming to downtown Minneapolis can expect to spend a lot of time at one of these machines this weekend. We know that things are going to be busy, both with the Twins game happening at 7 o'clock and the celebration of life. The celebration of Prince's life happening here at the Armory. The doors open at 7. The concert is at 8. We've got some big names performing: Morris Day, Tevin Campbell, Kat Graham, all celebrating the life of Prince. Then tomorrow, the big Prince block party is expected to bring hundreds downtown to the intersection of 9th and 1st. The party runs from 2 to 10 p.m., so expect a lot of foot traffic under the mural. It's best to avoid downtown if you don't plan to attend. If you do, though, there's probably going to be an extra boost in people around 4:30 for the community sing-along. All the activity underscores the impact Prince still has on his home city.
Prince was born here, he lived here, and he died here. He could have lived anywhere in the world, but he chose us. And this reminds us of exactly what he meant to us.
And for the sing-along tomorrow, the best parking options for you are going to be either Ramp A or the Hawthorne ramp. But it's important to note that the Lynx are playing at noon, so spaces in both of those ramps near Target Center are likely going to fill up fast. Back to you.
A busy weekend ahead. Stick with us. More news and weather is coming up after the break.